We waited. And waited. And waited. And now it is finally here. And oh my God, it's... Our trailer begins with the logo that I have come to loathe, and immediately drops into Rey. Holy crap, is she training? Amazing. But at the same time, she blocked a shot that wasn't even going towards her. This is completely on the filmmakers, by the way, not the character. They should have reshot that, made it look like she was actually blocking something that would have hit her. I mean, it's cool that Rey can hit a shot like that at random. That's impressive, but that's a training drone as far as I can tell. It should have been aiming at her. Luke was hit by it. She could have been hit by it too. As she runs through the forest, we hear Finn say,
"It's an instinct, a feeling. The Force brought us together."
This is supposed to be some kind of big reveal, but yet it feels hollow. We also see Rey jump from one location to another. Was it a flashback? Was it a vision? Who knows? They don't sit on it long enough to give any details for us to care, so instead it just feels weird and wrong. We get a brief shot of Finn looking at, well, who knows? I looked in the reflection of the glasses for a few seconds. It might be a landscape. It might be the Death Star. Really don't know. I don't know that it's important. And a shot of Rey running with her lightsaber open. Seriously, unless you need it out, you should turn it off. It's kind of really dangerous. We are then treated to one of the shots that bothers me the most in this trailer. And this is very much a nitpick. One of many to come. This is a shot of the Resistance doing some kind of mandatory planning meeting. But here's the thing. See what they are under? This is the Rebel blockade runner. We will even see it taking off a little later in the trailer, which is a really nice shot. It's very beautiful, I'll admit. But you can see the landing gear, you can see the gun, you can see the escape pods. But here's the issue. It feels way, way too small. We saw a running gun battle in that thing during A New Hope. They wouldn't have had room for that kind of crap in there. It's just too small. The filmmakers were lazy, or they just didn't care. We get another voiceover.
We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
Honestly, I can't tell who it is that's saying that. It might be Poe, but I'm honestly not sure. But the problem is, where is the rest of the Republic? Where is the leadership that should already be leading this fight? But that's been a flaw in the sequel trilogy from the very beginning. We have no idea what's going on in the rest of the galaxy, or where any of the governments are. We get a shot of Rose Tico, showing she is still in this movie, as well as in the Resistance, despite nearly getting everyone killed in the last movie. And then we get to the event that we have all been waiting for. Rey versus Kylo Ren. Apparently, they decided to have this fight in the worst possible location. Not that they bothered to improve the choreography at all. Still just looks like they are randomly flailing away. But I'm still going to bet that Rey wins. Mainly because Kylo's opening move seems to be to sever his own leg. Holy crap, dude, that thing is really, really dangerous. Why would you ever do that? During this, we are greeted to a voiceover of Rey and Kylo.
People keep telling me they know me.
This is the third movie. No one still has any idea who you are. Not the audience, not the characters, not the filmmakers. We have no clue who you are or what your character arc is supposed to be.
No one does.
That I would believe, especially since I just said it.
But I do.
No, you don't. She just said no one does. And honestly, the audience doesn't either. And a lot of us have just really kind of stopped caring. We cut back to a confusing as hell shot of TIE fighters flying towards the iceberg that killed the Titanic. Seriously, most people that watched this shot thought it was in water until they realized the reflection didn't match the top part. If you look more closely, there is something inside it, a space station or maybe a ship or something. It looks pretty big and seems to extend all the way across, but how? Why? We get evidence that Ralph McQuarrie designed the Iron Throne, while hearing a voiceover by, of all people, Palpatine.
Long have I waited, and now your coming together is your undoing.
To me, this implies that the Resistance players are all coming together so Palpatine can kill them. How did that go for you last time again? Also, Palpatine is dead. Please stop destroying and rebooting and reimaging the original characters. Stop trying to tack on a connection to the original Star Wars at the last second. Then the trailer gets even dumber. First, we see a shot of a Star Destroyer rising out of ice or water or something. I don't even really know. It's a beautiful shot. But why isn't it an Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer? In case you don't know, between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, they changed the model of the Star Destroyer. The only difference was the antenna on top. There was a backstory difference. The Imperial 2 was bigger, more powerful, had a different kind of gun complement, things like that. But for all intents and purposes, the fleet was supposed to have been mainly converted to have this antenna. All the Imperial 1s were swapped out to have the Imperial 2 antenna. One of the cool parts about Rogue One was the destroyers in that movie had the original antenna that they would have had if the movie were to take place directly before the events of A New Hope. A little detail that made a big impact on those of us that notice these kind of things. As such, assuming that it's been 31 years since the Return of the Jedi, which was 4 to 5 years before A New Hope, this ship has been out of service for at least 35 years? Now, later on, we see they all have these big cannons on the bottom, but why would Palpatine add the cannons to an already obsolete fleet? I suspect the actual answer is not an in-story one, but more of a production one. This destroyer is the same model used in Rogue One. They either didn't notice or didn't care that it was an Imperial 1 model. If my suspicion is true, it would show that the filmmakers either don't care about the universe continuity, don't understand the universe continuity, or they just got really lazy. And honestly, I kind of think it's just laziness, and the next scene is exactly why I think that. Holy hell! This clip was dropped early in a teaser commercial to announce that the trailer would drop during Monday Night Football. So I had some time to tear this shot apart long before the trailer came out. First off, in universe, this is the dumbest grouping of ships I've ever seen. If one of them, just one, any one of them, makes any kind of a turn or course adjustment, everyone dies. Everyone. They'll crash into one another all over the place. The whole fleet will be destroyed. Oh look, there's even a star fortress in the fleet. We know how easily those things can explode. When we've seen fleets in Star Wars before, they always had room to maneuver. Even the Battle of Coruscant, which is really cramped, there was more room than there is here, and the ships were shown being able to maneuver just fine. Secondly, take a look at this shot for a minute. You have gray ships overlapping one another, several rows deep of nothing but gray ships. Gray ships on top of gray ships on top of gray ships on top of a gray background, with a really big gray ship in the forefront. This scene was set up by a moron. All of it blends together. You're zoomed in way too closely on some of the big ships, and others are way too far away to see in the background. It's horribly shot in every way possible. Even in the Battle over Coruscant, they broke it up by giving the different ships different colors. And they stood out from the background even if it was just black space. The third part about this gets back to why I suspect so much of this is being done in either a rushed or just flat out lazy fashion. Every ship in here has been reused. Every single one. There are frigates, star fortresses, the Ghost, Han's ship from Force Awakens, and many more. But with all of these ships being thrown in from something else, it gives the impression that they either didn't have time or desire to sit down and design out a new class of ship. Something to stand center stage, a capital ship that would lead this fleet. They just wanted their shot, so they just loaded it up with every ship that they had a CGI model for and overlapped them so you can't really see anything. It screams lazy or rushed, and I'm honestly not sure which is worse. We see a shot of the main cast in the Falcon, which would be awesome if they'd actually had spent any time together before this. A shot of an explosion in another super crappy vehicle traveling towards the freaking Death Star of all things. And then we get this scene.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir. At my friends.
Clearly, this scene is designed to jerk at the heartstrings of fans, which would be awesome if 3PO had had more than a token role in the sequel trilogy so far. They are setting him up to die. But they have killed so many heroes at this point, it's expected, and really, we just don't even care anymore because we kind of expect our heroes to be killed off in these movies anyway. Who in this shot do you actually know? R2 and Chewie aren't even here. If you look at the background, these shots were taken from other parts of the movie. His actual friends, the people he has a relationship with, aren't even in the room. The gun battle down the hallway is at least creative, but it is also just a flashy shot. And we see Leia and Rey hugging, because they had such a great relationship so far.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi.
Yes, we know, you want Rey to be the next Jedi. We know. You get a few colorful shots from the movie. Oh look, a Y-Wing. Another completely antiquated ship copied from a previous movie. You also can see the cannon on the bottom of the ship. Again, an Imperial 1 class for some reason. You don't get to end a saga you have tried to reboot. You don't get to add relevance by taking on a connection to previous movies at the end simply because you want a bigger paycheck. These are clearly horses. Again, we're back to the laziness part of this movie. They put a mask on a horse. It looks like a horse and a boar together. It's a borse. Hashtag borse. Remember when they needed animals to ride in the OT? They had banthas, which were elephants. Could you tell that that was an elephant at all? You also had the dewbacks, which were big lizards. And in episode 3, you got Obi-Wan's lizard mount. None of these look like anything you would find on Earth. But here we have horses in masks. Also, they are on the deck of a Star Destroyer. Are they in atmosphere? And if so, how high are they? You know, if they are in space, that there isn't air out there? You know that, right? Also, what is their plan? They're on an armored ship, and there only appears to be a handful of them. What are they going to do? Stuff one of the borses into a cannon and hope it makes it blow up the whole ship? Yes, Star Wars will live forever, but I really don't think anyone will be talking about the Disney Star Wars movies 10 years from now. Reboots never do as well as their originals, and these are soulless, hollow remakes of better films. Remember this room? It's connected. It's all been one big story. Except, this room was on top of a tower with a shaft in the middle that leads to the reactor. A reactor which blew up, and fire flowed through all of the tunnels, and then the whole thing blew up.
Have you even seen Star Wars?
We get a brief silent shot of Finn yelling for Rey, which is really his only real motive in any of these movies, is just Rey for some reason. And then we get a shot of Rey and Kylo destroying what looks like Darth Vader's monument that Kylo's been using in The Force Awakens, while also proving that they again skimped on the training of how to use the weapons. Kylo doesn't even hit the target, and Rey nearly falls over. Wonderful. This is so dumb. One ship with a hyperspace ram could take out several of these things. They are running on a ship in space. Oh look, a B-Wing, another recycled ship from a previously better movie. So lazy. Look, Kylo, Rey. No one cares.
The Force will be with you.
Always.
You seriously better not screw up Leia in this movie. I stopped caring a long time ago about the sequel trilogy and the characters are in it, but Carrie Fisher deserves so much better than for you to bumble your way through killing off her character. You would better have enough stock footage to use her properly. The fans will never forgive you if you don't. And seriously, they might not forgive you even if you do. Seriously, when this trailer came out, I was pumped. I stocked up on caffeine so I could pull an all-nighter and get the review out the next day. I put off other things I normally do on Monday to just sit and wait for it to drop. I expected to be either excited and actually pumped for the movie, excited and thinking that maybe it could be a good movie, or, more realistically, I expected to just be angry at how badly they were going to destroy the franchise that I love so much. But when the trailer came out, it was meh, at best. I had no real reaction. I wasn't excited, of course, but I also wasn't angry. I couldn't figure out why. For a time, I thought maybe my love of Star Wars was broken somehow. Nope, love of Star Wars intact and working just fine. So there had to be something else. I checked the reaction on Twitter and YouTube, and it seemed to be the same. Pretty much everybody looked at this and went, meh. I even had friends text and message me asking, what the hell was that? And were you as bored as I was? Did I miss something? A friend asked me if they should rewatch it to see if there was something that they missed. And I pretty much just told them no.
There is nothing left to see.
They had tried to bring back the old fans and excite the new fans, but they gave us nothing to be excited about. The OT elements they threw in to try and tug at my heartstrings were lazy and poorly done. The effect may be more apathetic than anything else. Even 3PO's implied death was ruined by him looking at people he has no development with. Sure, it has some beautiful shots. It's a big budget movie. It better have beautiful shots, but they don't fit in the universe. And this one doesn't make sense in any universe. In the end, it was a very boring letdown. It felt rushed and lazy with no real idea what the plot or story of the movie would be. They were clearly trying to draw in old fans by making us remember the originals, but the disconnect is too great. Besides, kind of like that scene from the movie Dark City.
You're not gonna find it in here. You went looking in the wrong place.
It wasn't the memory of Star Wars that we love and that we miss. It's the heart and soul of it. The details that go into the movie. You went looking in the wrong place, Disney. But I did find a good use for this trailer. Babies don't sleep this good. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments below.